very chill of early dawn, the snows came to Green Bay, and the elements became a factor in the championship game. The first team to appear at Lambeau Field was coached by the groundskeeper. It included a helicopter, snow sweepers, and boys with brooms. By the time the players arrive, the field is fairly clean. Gary Collins, last year's championship hero, led the league in punting and the Browns in receiving in 1965. Dr. Frank Ryan is in his second championship game after quarterbacking the Cleveland team to an easy victory in the East. But the big gun in the Cleveland attack is Jim Brown, who proved in his 9th season that he is still the greatest running back in football. Brown has run farther and crossed the goal line more often than any player in history. Each yard he gains sets a record. Don Chandler, hero of Green Bay's sudden death victory over Baltimore, literally kicked the Packers into the championship of the West. 6 years ago, Willie Wood was signed as a free agent. Today, he is an all-pro safety, and along with Herb Adderley, helps give Green Bay the most efficient pass defense in football. Bart Starr is a consistent quarterback, as well as a master of the calculated risk. Combat-hardened Fuzzy Thurston is typical of the Green Bay offensive line. Playing in his 9th championship game, 15-year veteran Lou Groza kicks off. Tom Moore returns the ball to the Green Bay 23. On 3rd and 7, Bart Starr produces his first big play of the day. It is a perfectly thrown pass to Jim Taylor for a first down, which establishes the Packer momentum. Carrying out his early game plan, Starr passes to his other running back, Paul Hornung, for another first down. Brisk blocking clears Jim Taylor for 6 yards up the middle. It is 2nd and 4 on the Cleveland 47 as we switch to our end zone camera. Having made the Cleveland defense overly conscious of his running backs as pass targets, Starr cashes in on his strategy. The long pass is complete to Carroll Dale. Dale skips through Cleveland defenders, and Green Bay has scored on its opening drive. In super slow motion, we'll review Green Bay's scoring play. Behind superb blocking, Starr has more than ample time to find his receiver. Dale has his man clearly beaten, but the pass is underthrown. Now the elements take their toll as both Walter Beach and Ross Fiechner fall on the slippery turf. The sure-footed Dale picks his way nimbly by Larry Benz. Proves too fast for Galen Fiss. And eludes Benz again at the goal line to give Green Bay a 7-0 lead. Acquired in an off-season trade, Dale, a 6-year veteran, pays his biggest dividend to the Packers. On Cleveland's first scrimmage play, the spotlight camera focuses on Jim Brown. Taking a page from Starr's playbook, Ryan uses his fullback as a receiver. Brown wrestles the ball away from linebacker Dave Robinson to complete a 30-yard play. That same play, viewed from the end zone, points up the strong blocking of the Cleveland line. The pass is slightly underthrown, and only Brown's outstanding effort saves the play. Ray Nitschke rides Brown down at the Green Bay 36. Disdaining his powerful ground game, Ryan spears Paul Warfield for a first down at the Packer 17. On the sideline, Green Bay coach Vince Lombardi queries his press box scouts in an effort to seal the cracks in his pass defense. But the advice does not arrive in time. Frank Ryan watches Gary Collins break free to the outside and hits him for the touchdown. Cleveland's first touchdown was the result of well-conceived strategy. The Packers are aware that Collins has a reputation for preferring inside patterns. With this in mind, Ryan has Collins fake to the inside and break to the sideline. With Adderley conceding the outside, Collins is home free. It's Green Bay 7, Cleveland 6. The greatest place kicker in NFL history is helpless when the snapback is fumbled. Groza, in desperation, shot puts a pass to Bobby Franklin, but the play fails, and Cleveland trails by a vital point. John Wooten clears up a blocking assignment with Cleveland coach Blanton Collier as the Cleveland defense forces Green Bay to give up the ball. Packer fans hope things go better. It's 2nd and 7 for the Browns on their own 39. Ryan completes a hitch pass to Warfield, who is dragged down by Doug Hart after an 11-yard gain. Jim Brown probes the Packer defense. He gains 5 yards and a wholesome respect for Willie Davis, Green Bay's all-pro end. The Browns have reached the Green Bay 20, where it is 2nd and 5 as Ryan searches for a receiver. But Lombardi has sealed the cracks in his secondary, and Ryan is forced to run. Once again, the treacherous footing betrays the Browns. Ryan, headed for an apparent first down, trips and falls 2 yards short. On 3rd and 2, Ryan gambles. Instead of sending Jim Brown after the first down, he goes for broke with a long shot to Warfield that narrowly misses its mark. But Lou Groza is Cleveland's ace in the hole. He has scored a record 49 points in championship games. This 24-yard field goal adds to his total and puts the underdog Browns ahead 9-7. Trailing for the first time, the Packers return to elemental football. Jerry Kramer escorts Paul Hornung around the Cleveland flank for a 34-yard gain. The super slow-motion camera details the meticulous blocking on this typical Green Bay sweep. Blocks by Thurston, Anderson, and Dale help Hornung through the first line of defense. Paul overpowers Larry Benz, while Kramer screens Walter Beach out of the play. Jim Houston gets into the pursuit and collars Hornung on the Cleveland 39. A sideline pass to towering Boyd Dowler gains 11 yards and a first down on the Cleveland 28. Hornung clears the way for Taylor, who gains 7 yards before Dick Modzaleski bulldogs him down. Watch Fuzzy Thurston get 2 blocks on this play as he ushers Paul Hornung to a first down on the Browns 6, where the first quarter ends with Cleveland leading Green Bay 9-7. With 4th and 8 and the Packer juggernaut stalled, Don Chandler again demonstrates his value to Green Bay with a 15-yard field goal. The Packers go in front once more, 10-9. Having had success with his passing game, Ryan tries to get out of a hole with a long toss to Warfield. Bob Jeter reacts beautifully to break it up. Ryan is not convinced that he can't pass against the Packers, but Willie Wood underlines the lesson with a disheartening interception. Green Bay owns the ball on the Cleveland 10. On first down, Horning misunderstands the count. The Packers never recover from his illegal procedure penalty as 3 ensuing passes fall incomplete. On fourth down, Don Chandler offers a solution. His field goal from the 23 gives Green Bay a 13-9 advantage. Horning explains to Coach Lombardi and Jim Taylor that he misheard Starr's count in the huddle. The Golden Boy's explanation does little to soothe Lombardi's ruffled feelings. On the next series, Ryan returns to the basic Cleveland philosophy. Brown gains 9 yards on a power sweep before he's knocked out of bounds, much to the chagrin of an overexposed photographer. The Browns continue their flank attack as Brown churns for another 14 yards. His advance is rudely interrupted by Adderley and Wood. A sweep from a double wing set makes a total of 31 yards in the last 3 carries for Jim Brown as Cleveland's ground game comes alive. On 3rd and 2, Green Bay solves the sweep. Jim Brown is turned in by Tom Brown. Kostelnik and the pursuing Packers bury the big fullback for a yard loss. The expression on Modzelewski's face reflects the mood of the Browns at being forced to punt.
Fire. Brown right, Bud left, A-hook, L post. All 3. Ready? Kick. Hit.
Following a coffin corner kick, Green Bay huddles in its own end zone. On 3rd and 3 from his own 11, Starr decides to take one of his favorite calculated risks, a fake to Taylor into the line and a pass to Horning. There's the fake to Taylor. And here's the pass to Horning. But Starr is off target, and the gamble ends in disaster with Walter Beach intercepting at the Green Bay 30. Jim Taylor strides angrily off the field while across the way, Walter Beach relives his moment of glory. The 2-minute warning has already been given, and Ryan attempts a calculated risk of his own. Hoping to surprise the Packer defense, he tries a long pass on first down. Ryan returns to his most consistent play, a post pattern to Collins, but Jeter and Brown combine to stop it. Cleveland captain Galen Fiss shouts encouragement from the bench. Follow number 66, Ray Nitschke, who implements Green Bay's blitzing strategy. Ryan has no time to find a deep receiver as Robinson drops in for a 5-yard loss. It is 3rd and 15 on the Green Bay 35 as the spotlight camera picks up Jim Brown. He drifts into the flat to take a short pass from Ryan, but is tackled by Jeter 1 yard short of the first down. When reviewing that last play from another angle, it becomes clear that Brown has outmaneuvered Nitschke. It is only Bob Jeter's savage headlong tackle which denies Cleveland the crucial first down. With 53 seconds left, Lou Groza is called upon to pick up the pieces of the broken Cleveland drive. The half ends with Green Bay clinging to a narrow 1-point lead. As the traditional halftime entertainment begins, the pattern of this game has been established. Green Bay has made the big third down plays. Cleveland has not. In the half to come, this trend will become even more significant. After receiving the second half kickoff, Cleveland is unable to control the ball, and Gary Collins punts to the Packers. Elijah Pitts gives away 10 yards looking for running room. which he never finds. From its own 10-yard line, Green Bay launches an all-out second-half offensive with Horning hammering for 5 yards. Jim Taylor booms for 5 more as the Packers maintain ball control. On a fullback delay, the toy tank rumbles along to the Green Bay 46. Taylor shows power and balance as he wades through mud and tacklers for 7 yards. With the ball at the Cleveland 45, Starr mixes in a pass, but it is still Jim Taylor's raw power which accounts for most of this 10-yard advance. A somber Jim Brown watches helplessly as his counterpart paces the Packer assault. Paul Horning comes back to the attack and sweeps through the discouraged Cleveland forces for a big first down at the 15. Horning had help on that run, as the slow-motion camera reveals. Anderson, Taylor, and Gregg forge an opening, and Thurston provides the downfield convoy. On his own, Horning drags tacklers for 5 additional yards to complete this 20-yard gain. It is Horning who adds the finishing stroke to this muddy masterpiece. All falls in behind Jerry Kramer, and the big guard brushes the Browns from his path. The Packer backers are ecstatic. Not even the mud can dim the luster of their golden boy. The teamwork and precision of the Green Bay blocking is again the moving force behind Horning's touchdown. While Horning follows Kramer, watch number 75, Forrest Gregg, peel off a pursuer. Horning's touchdown makes the score Green Bay 20, Cleveland 12. In the rain and sleet, Cleveland is forced to play catch-up. Unable to find a receiver, Ryan lopes through a narrow corridor for 8 yards. Leroy Caffey applies a headlock so enthusiastically that it draws a 15-yard penalty. Coach Lombardi has reservations about the call, which moves the ball into Green Bay territory. Given new hope, Ryan throws to Gary Collins, who skates to the Green Bay 28 before he is assaulted by Adderley. Ryan, knowing Jim Brown is almost as dangerous a receiver as he is a runner, sends the fleet fullback sprinting through the goalposts on a deep pattern. Although Brown gets behind the defenders, he is unable to hang on to the slippery ball. On that last play, the spotlight camera retraces Brown's route to the end zone. He outruns Ray Nitschke, and this picture shows just how close Cleveland came to scoring a touchdown. Coach Blanton Collier knows that in the NFL, there are no points for near misses. Frank Ryan finds that the slippery ball is no easier to throw than it is to catch. The elements have made themselves felt again. The arrow identifies Henry Jordan as Cleveland is forced to try a field goal. Jordan slices between Walter Johnson and John Brown and manages to get a hand in the path of Groza's kick. The field goal fails, and Green Bay carries a 20-12 lead into the fourth quarter.
It was partially blocked by Henry Jordan.
The Packers prove equal to the elements. In the face of fog, sleet, and a slippery field, Starr completes a pass to Boyd Dowler for 18 yards. Jim Taylor, wheel horse of the Packers, slogs violently through the mud for 6 grimy yards. When the Green Bay attack bogs down, Chandler has the solution. He drills a 29-yard field goal through pelting snow to make the Packers' margin 23-12. Chandler kicks off. His short kick is taken by Leroy Kelly on the 7. Kelly sets off on a last gasp effort to put Cleveland back in the game. Chandler is the final Packer in Kelly's pack. The kicking specialist turns tackler to prevent a touchdown. With minutes to play, Cleveland defensive coach Nick Skorich hopes for a block punt. The Packers are back on their own 7, and Chandler will be punting out of the end zone. Ralph Smith fights past 2 blockers, barely misses the ball, but hits Don Chandler. This disastrous penalty for roughing the kicker costs Cleveland possession of the ball, plus invaluable time. No one is more aware than Cleveland coach Blanton Collier that this spelled defeat. Little more than a minute remains when Cleveland regains the ball. Ryan's despairing pass is too long for Gary Collins, but just right for Herb Adderley, whose interception ices the victory. Although they are covered with sweat, mud, and blood, these are the faces of victory. Coach Vince Lombardi labeled his 3rd World Championship club a team of character. A team's character is built by men like Ray Nitschke, who hobbled Jim Brown, and Willie Davis, who led the rush on Frank Ryan. There were those who came back, among them Paul Hornung, who gained over 100 yards today and accepts the congratulations of Pete Rozelle, NFL commissioner. Finally, the game's most valuable player, Jim Taylor, an important cog in a machine that had all the elements of victory, the elements that combined to make Green Bay Titletown, USA.